Occult Macabre, a phantasmagoric guide to pop culture's dark side. I'm Lee.
And I'm Richie.
And today we bring to you A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
It's one of my favorite franchises. I just want to throw that out there. We've talked about the first Nightmare on Elm Street. In fact, that was our very first episode. So if you're new to this, go back and check that episode out and then come back to this one.
And funny enough, we did our first episode on the first Nightmare on Elm Street during its anniversary, and we are close to doing the same here. I believe the anniversary is Halloween of this year, if I'm remembering correctly, but close enough.
November 1st, 1985. Yeah,
Gotcha.
So I mean, day after, but you know, we're still going to count it. But the timeline is that in part one, even though part one had come out in 1984, canonically it takes place in 1981. Then 5 years later, part two takes place, and this takes place in 1986. Because when you actually make your way through the entire franchise, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, which is part six, takes place in 1999. So there's a giant, 18-year span in the original Springwood, Ohio timeline for all this shit, right? So Freddy's been causing chaos for the better part of 18 years in that timeline. But we're in year 5. And it's strange because they don't necessarily talk about much of the past murders except for two characters in this film. And in this film, we focus on a male lead by the name of Jesse Walsh, who is played by Mark Patton, and the co-lead is played by Kim Myers, and her character's name is Lisa. And of course, Robert Englund is back as Freddy Krueger. So another reason, because we're going to make our way through the entire Elm Street franchise. We're just going to throw that out there over the course of, however many seasons we roll through.
It's the goal.
Yeah, to get to it. Yeah. But right now, we are near the end of June, which is also Pride Month. And Nightmare on Elm Street 2, although when it had first come out, wasn't necessarily embraced in this manner, over time, it has become a cult classic, and especially a cult classic within the LGBTQ community. And so its lead actor, Mark Patton, who, if you haven't seen the documentary Scream Queen,
highly recommend that. Highly recommend that documentary.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
You can actually watch it for free right now on YouTube.
Yeah, so if you would like to check that out, definitely do it. It's worth a watch, and it's a very revealing portrait of his experience in Hollywood, and especially with this film in particular. But it holds a special place now. It didn't once before. It used to be that Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was not considered to be the best in the Elm Street franchise. And I used to think that way forever ago. Much in the way that I actually used to think that Halloween 3 Season of the Witch was not very good, but I came around and really appreciate that film for what it is. And honestly, I really, really, really like this Elm Street entry. So let's fucking dive into it.
Absolutely.
All right. So 5 years after Freddy Krueger has fallen in defeat to Nancy Thompson, Jesse Walsh's family moves into 1428 Elm Street. And the way that this movie is presented, it's a lot different, right? It's more of a possession film. It's more of a body horror film. And I think that, for me, really plays into a lot of the stuff that I like. I really like David Cronenberg films, shit like that. I love body horror. I think there's something intriguing about the special effects work that goes into it and how surreal it looks at times, because you can see that it's a wax bust, or maybe it's not entirely real. It's kind of like when you look at a masked band like President or something like that, where the face looks a little too uncanny valley.
Right.
So that kind of plays into the dream world aspect of some of this stuff. But where they kind of went left field with the formula and actually pissed off Wes Craven, because he was like, they fucking ruined my character. He literally had said that at one point. He's like, they fucked up my character because Freddy was always meant to be confined into a dream state. This movie kind of blurs that line.
It is kind of ambiguous. We had some very clear signs in the first movie when the characters were going through dream sequences. I think the fog, the mist that you see overtake the scenes was one of the really, really big ones there, as well as the outfits you would see Nancy in and whatnot.
Everybody wore white clothing.
Yeah, with their white PJs, and they were always barefoot when they were outside, stuff like that. You don't really see that. It's really left up to you to wonder what the fuck is going on here if they're not dreaming.
Yeah, and we get it kind of sort of right off the bat. Jesse wakes up in a sweat in their new house, and
boy is wet as fuck.
Yeah, that poor bastard. Look, Guys.
He's moist.
Yeah. God damn it.
He's moist.
Very moist. Look, at one point, his dad is like, oh, it's 97 degrees in here. If it is ever 97 degrees in this house, please shoot me. Like, fuck that noise.
I will have shot myself a long time ago by the time it reaches 90-something degrees.
Screw that shit, right?
Forget that.
Yeah, but anyway, so Jesse's having nightmares, and he goes downstairs to have breakfast with his family, and his little sister is trying to get the Fu Man claws out of their cereal. And
oh my God, that cereal box too. I was like, no.
No, whenever she's like, hey, look, I found him. And he's smiling at her because it's his little sister. And he's like, bitch. Like, she's got those fucking like claws on her hand. He's like, this bitch here. Like, at that point, Jesse was like, I should have kicked her down the fucking flight of stairs when I had the chance, man. Fuck that shit.
Freddy tried to get him to murder her.
Right? Like, Freddy probably got in his head and was just like, see how she taunts you with my claws? Your claws are real. Those are fake. Kick her down the stairs. Fuck it. It's just whatever.
Blame it on the PTSD.
Yeah, no shit. But anyway, like, we get introduced to the character of Lisa because he's like, oh, I got to go. That's my ride. And he meets her at the door. And I just want to say right off the bat that Kim Myers' portrayal of Lisa, I highly enjoy. I think Lisa Weber as a character is very real, very down to earth. She's very girl next door, even though in the movie she's kind of portrayed, they don't come out and say it, but she's definitely like portrayed. I think Grady mentions it, like the rich girl.
Yeah, she's definitely privileged.
Yeah, but she doesn't come across that way.
No, she's not like snotty. She doesn't throw it in people's faces, nothing like that.
But I like that about her. I actually really like the friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it, with her and Jesse. And it's hilarious because, like, at first Grady as a character, whenever we, get introduced to him at the school and everything, when him and Lisa show up to school, they're already on like the baseball field for like recess or gym or whatever the fuck. And Grady, you kind of get set up where maybe he's going to be like the bully.
Yeah, I really love how they portrayed their relationship, actually. Like, they're giving each other a hard time. They get into a fight. Coach makes them do some fucking push-ups. Misery loves company. Next thing you know, they're cracking jokes and giving each other the middle finger in class and all sorts of shit.
Right, but I think that's a very real thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, that's how me and my friends were in school. Like, we were bros and we hung out and shit, but we would roast each other. We'd fucking play pranks on each other. It's just what we did, But, I mean, that was a different time. And, I mean, shit, fucking 1985 was a different time. Or 1986, as this movie, is taking place in. But anyway, Jesse is being plagued. Only Jesse is actually being plagued is what I wanted to kind of bring up as a point earlier, how in almost every nightmare film, Freddy is haunting different kids. Like, he's invading different kids' dreams. He's only invading Jesse's, which is, again, another thing that kind of went away from the formula. It's more, like I said, it's more of a possession film where he keeps telling Jesse, hey, man, like, kill for me. Because the first fucking interaction he has, he's going down in the basement and he gets snatched up by Krueger at the top of the doorway. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole, like, you've got the brains, I've got the body sequence where Freddy pulls, like, the skin over his brain, and it's fucking creepy.
The pulsing brain matter, and it looks all wet.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's so, Freddy, yeah, his makeup in this movie is actually really good. A lot of people, I don't think at the time they really liked it because you see more of him this time because he was always kind of concealed in darker lighting, and then like you saw a little bit of his face in the first one. This is one where you kind of see all of him, but his eyes are different color too, but they're more menacing looking. They're more of like a reddish brown. And
I really like how they did the hand glove look in this movie where it's like the knives are actually coming out of his fingertips. It's not like an actual like glove. You actually see like the mottled burned skin and flesh, and the knives are just
Yeah, and that's also kind of a stylistic choice based on how they're doing the possession angle here, because like the glove does show up, but anytime it does show up on Freddy, it's strange because it shows up on him like maybe 2 or 3 times like that you can really see where it's just him. But anytime he is in full possession of Jesse, they're coming out of his actual fingers, and it's painful looking.
Oh, very much so, because it's not just like an extension of the fingernail, it is through the fingertip. It looks like it hurts like hell.
Imagine going to get that shit done at a nail salon.
Oh my God.
Like, it just happens and you're just stuck with them like that. And imagine explaining.
Got them extra long tips.
Imagine explaining that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you wipe your ass with that?
Very carefully. Also, I like when we see the interactions between Freddy and Jesse, how Jesse has this like almost sleepwalking nature to him, where he looks completely out of it. Like he really just doesn't understand what's going on, but he completely comprehends what he's seeing.
I think that was also intentional because it does kind of play into the possession thing where you as the viewer are constantly set up to be like, okay, did this or did this not happen? Did Jesse do this? Did Freddy do this? Did the people that it's happening to, are they seeing what we're seeing?
Right.
Like if they're seeing Freddy, like we're seeing Freddy Krueger carry out some of these murders, but are the people that are seeing it, are they seeing Freddy or are they seeing Jesse? Because this kind of becomes apparent when Jesse has a deeper, more intense dream where, like you mentioned, he sleepwalks. He goes out of his house. He's walking in the rain. Poor dude is always in the same pajama tops, too. It's kind of funny. Like he's always in like an unbuttoned light blue. Yeah, that dude just has a really good collection of like light blue button-ups, you know?
He looks great, to be fair. A+ fashion choice. If I looked anything remotely like him, I'd be wearing those outfits too.
Dude, look, Mark Patton is a good-looking dude. Like, it still is to this. He's aged very well. The dude's a great-looking guy. And he, it's funny because like, when he's walking, I've been there where I'm just like dead ass tired. I'm just like, man, fuck, you know. But he's perpetually fucking tired of this movie, as are all the kids on Elm Street. He goes to this bar, and it's an S&M bar because earlier when they're doing the push-ups, when him and Grady are kind of being told to do push-ups by Coach Snyder, he looks at Jesse and he's just like, oh yeah, that's how the coach gets his rocks off. He likes pretty boys like you. That motherfucker hangs out at gay BDSM clubs. Yeah. So he rolls into this bar, and it's a gay bar. And in a very funny cameo, the CEO of New Line Cinema, Bob Shea, brother of Lynn Shea, who we fucking love on this podcast.
We love Lynn.
Yeah. So he's behind the counter in full leather, dyed, like spray black dye in his fucking hair. And I do kind of have to laugh at this when Jesse, like, it just kind of rolls up there. Have a beer, please. So he cracks open a bottle, then he just slides him a whiskey glass. And I'm like, who the fuck pours the beer in a whiskey glass?
Fuck? That's like your number one way of catching like underage kids drinking. You hand this bitch a whiskey glass and he just pours the fucking beer in there, you know you've got a problem right off the bat. Something's wrong.
Yeah. I also really like how all of the beer in this movie is beer brand beer. Like they look like Coors Banquets and Budweisers, but it all just says beer.
Well, just like Nancy's mom in the first one, they're very brand loyal. When they know what they like, you know, they stick with it.
That bitch bought the
shots of vodka.
I swear, dude. Okay, it's like that movie's vodka, this movie's beer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, so he's going to take a sip out of the glass, and it's fucking Coach Snyder just grabs it. He looks at it, it's like, hey, dirtball. And I'm like, you motherfucker. But they treat it really well, how like it goes literally from him walking in the rain. He shows up to this bar. As soon as he gets caught by Schneider in the bar, he's automatically in the basketball practice court in the gym at their school.
Doing laps.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it really treats it like a real dream would be, because no dream is really intersected like, and how it makes sense. You're just in one location, then all of a sudden you're in another one. It's
very choppy. It doesn't always make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he's running laps, and this is a weird part of the movie. Not what happens, but like I'll get to what's weird about it. It's not even the scene. It's the portrayal of Freddy. So Coach Snyder is living every gay dude's fantasy in this office space. I don't care what they fucking said. When those basketballs and the footballs and the tennis balls and the soccer balls start flying out of the shelves, and that man is surrounded by balls. Okay.
It's the happiest he's ever been in his life.
Fuck yeah, man. So he gets dragged away by the jump ropes into the shower because he's already told Jesse hit the showers. And Schneider is like tied to like 2 or 3 of them.
With the jump rope?
Yeah, man, he gets tied there. And like Freddy's like whipping him with fucking towels, like invisibly, I might add. He's just whipping his bare ass, like full bare ass on camera.
Yeah, he just rips all of his clothes off and just whoosh.
Dude, he fucks him up pretty good with those towels. Like
that butt gets awfully bloody. Some bloody cheeks.
Oh, God. That's the thing too, is like I like the camera trick where they use how the fog or the steam in the bathroom or the shower gets so thick that Jesse's able to, like, you can see it. Jesse just steps away into the fog, and then here comes Freddy. But it's not Freddy. There is a, if you watch the Never Sleep Again documentary portion where it's Elm Street 2, they do talk about how at one point Bob Shea almost fucked up, and they were just like, well, we're not going to bring Robert Englund back because, like, money. They didn't want to pay him. They straight up did not want to pay Robert Englund, and they were like, oh yeah, it's a mask, we'll just put it on somebody else. So they fucking shot this sequence with another fucking dude, and you can tell because he's like mummy walking.
It's immediately noticeable. Yes, the body language is completely wrong. The framing, like the actual frame of the body, is just completely wrong, and you know that is not Robert Englund.
No,
you just know.
That dude is walking like, hey guys, I'm Freddy Krueger. Like, dude, come on. You don't do that. Sure, you could do it with Michael Myers. They've done it with Michael Myers. They've done it with Jason. They've done it with Leatherface. You can't do that with Chucky or Freddy Krueger. There's just not, that's not happening. And Art the Clown. You can't have Freddy Krueger if it's not Robert Englund. They tried that once and it failed.
The characterization just is not there because that is the person who breathed life into that character.
Yeah. So he just mummy walks up to him. 2 quick slashes across the back and he's fucking toast. He's dead. And it cuts back and it's Jesse with the glove. So you're like, what the fuck? Police bring him home. Dad does the typical dad thing. You know, what are you taking and where are you getting it from, son?
What are you on, boy?
Like, dude, at that point with that, for being a dad, I'd want to be on antidepressants at that fucking point. But he goes to school the next day. And there's cops everywhere. There's like an ambulance, and him and Lisa get there, and he runs up, and Grady's like, dude, where the hell were you last night? Schneider got wasted. He got slashed into pieces in the bathroom, and there's footprints everywhere. It's like, oh shit. Yeah, it's kind of at that point that you start putting together, okay, what happened actually happened.
Something physical actually took place, yes.
Yeah, and Jesse is now wrestling with the idea of, fuck, I killed Schneider. This guy is being taken for a mental acrobatic fuck ride. Like he's just, I can't describe it any other way. A mental acrobatic fuck ride from hell. He gets invited to the pool party because, like, apparently, and this is what I crack up at. Apparently, Lisa has a lot of pool parties on the weekend because she talks about how her dad tries to play like these old fucking records and shit.
Tries to DJ the parties.
Yeah, which is fucking hilarious actually because, like, it's such a dad move. Like, really, that man in 2024, 2025, it would be the equivalent. The 2025 equivalent would be that man is in a brand new fucking pair of New Balance shoes. He's got a Kiss the Cook apron. He's got a badass propane grill. And he's fucking probably playing like Creed.
Oh my God.
Tell me I'm fucking wrong.
With arms wide open.
Oh, dude, that'd be like the lamest fucking party ever. Because, I mean, he's sitting there and he's playing like this sax. It's like some kind of like smooth jazz or some bullshit or some kind of like big band or something. And everybody just, they look like, oh, fuck. But that scene does kind of make me laugh. Because when they go to this party, that's happening. You know, and Lisa told her friend, she's like, yeah, mom's going to try to keep dad in the room. So he does. Like, they go upstairs and they're waiting for him to fucking turn the lights off. And they do. And as soon as the lights go out, they're like, oh, yeah, I got the music. They fucking take the cassette out, put another cassette in. They just, like, tops start coming off in the pool. And then they wheel this radio flyer wagon with ice and beer, branded beer. They just start having a fucking party. Meanwhile, Jesse and Lisa are kind of
having a personal moment.
Yeah, they're about to get busy in the cabana.
They making the fuck out.
Well, Jesse winds up booking it the fuck out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah, I love that they do these stunts with Freddy's tongue. You know what I mean? The prosthetics. It looked really good for what it was worth. Absolutely fucking disgusting.
Yeah, there's a thing that Robert Englund had said at one point where, because like Rob spends a lot of time in the makeup chair to get into Freddy's, like, you know, get up or whatever. Right. But he was talking about how Mark Patton actually had to spend not as much, but about as much time in the makeup department with a lot of this stuff because he had to have like a full body mold done of his whole upper body because of the scene that follows this.
They made a lot of models of that boy's head.
Yeah, he goes over to Grady's house. This is a lot of the gay subtext that is actually like talked about with this movie is, you know, there's lines of dialogue or like there's small things that are placed in there. Like the scene where Lisa goes to Jesse's house to help him clean the room. and the whole iconic like dancing scene that he has in there with the little popper,
the sunglasses.
Yeah, and then there is a fucking board game up in the top of his closet called Probe. Yeah. And then they find Nancy's diary, and this is kind of where it starts being mentioned about the murders that took place in 81 with Nancy and Glenn, her boyfriend. They read about all this stuff, and, there's problems at the house where Jesse confronts his dad about this. The family bird blows up, and the dad accuses Jesse of using a cherry bomb for it.
Or like lighting some firecrackers up a bird's ass. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, dude, like what the fuck?
Your house was over 90 degrees. No wonder your fucking birds died.
I tell you what that kid needs. He needs a good goddamn kick in the butt and a methadone clinic. Like, what the fuck, dude?
The fuck?
Bro.
Calm down, Dad.
So yeah, that's kind of the fuck shit that Jesse has to deal with on top of everything else. But like the gay subtext, like with the placements of stuff, and he's going to Grady's house. That's also, is written, like there's a line written where he's talking about, oh yeah, it happened, with my little sister. Cause he does, like he goes into his sister's room and he, freaks out cause he sees his glove on his hand and he's like, shit.
Yeah, it's like Freddy was possessing him to be tempted into murdering his sister. It was very scary for him. He brings it up quite a few times. Yeah,
and especially in this scene, he's like, something is trying to get inside my body. He's like, yeah, it's Lisa at the cabana and you want to sleep with me. Because he's trying to tell Grady, he's like, you got to let me stay here tonight so nothing happens to me. He's like, it tried to make me kill my sister. It's tried to make me like hurt Lisa in the cabana and all this other shit. And it's like, dude, okay, if you really insist on staying here, he's like, yeah, just, make sure if I start walking, I don't care if you got to hit me over the head, just don't let me leave, don't fall asleep. And he's like, okay, whatever.
And much like Glenn watching Nancy, he falls asleep. Uh-oh.
But it's hilarious because as soon as Grady's eyes like out,
it's immediate.
Jesse is like, "Did you fucking fell asleep? I'll kick your ass."
It's happening again.
He's like, "Oh no, it's happening again! I'll fucking kick your ass. You fell asleep. I told you not to fall asleep." He didn't go off like that, but I swear to God, he just jumped. It's dude. It's almost like Jesse being called out by Walter White. It's like, Jesse,
I'm the one who kills.
Yeah, exactly, dude. But as soon as he calls his name out, like Grady, like pops right back. He's like, "Whoa, what the fuck, dude?" Because like Jesse's in pain, and this is where we see like a really full body horror moment here. Because like there's one part where he's screaming when you can like see the camera like right in his throat, and it's an eyeball, and there's voice warbling.
Freddy is literally bursting out of Jesse's skin. You see it tear apart his arms, the knives come through the fingers and all that stuff. I love that body piece that they used with Freddy's figure coming out of his like abdomen. It very much reminded me of their latex usage in the first movie. Translated very well, looked really good for using like a model head and everything. I was quite impressed with that.
Yeah, especially because the director, Jack Shoulder, he even admitted a lot of the time, he's like, dude, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing with any of this because the pre-production on this, we should note, was very rushed. Like the entire production on this was actually extremely rushed because if you think about the timeline of the first movie, it came out in November of 1984, like November 9th of 1984. This movie comes out almost exactly 1 year later. And to think about the turnaround time, on a sequel being put together, casting, like if you think about it, casting, pre-production, shooting the movie.
That's a lot to do. They condensed a lot.
Yeah, like the effects work, post-production, like literally any of that. Because at one point, Mark Patton had talked about we were shooting on the 4th of July and this movie was opening on Halloween. Because the original opening date was Halloween. So yeah, they put a lot of shit into a short amount of time. And yeah, Jack Shoulder was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So to his credit, and actually to everybody who worked on this movie's credit, they made it work.
Yeah, for working off the seat of his pants, he did pretty fucking good, all things considered.
Yeah, but the touch that I liked about this scene is when he comes through his abdomen, he actually like slices the stomach open with the claw blade.
The possessed claw, yes, I did notice that. I like that a lot.
This is also, again, kind of that, are they seeing what we're seeing? Because Grady is absolutely reacting to having seen what he just fucking saw. And this is actually like, I think the actor, Rob Ressler, I think he actually spoke about how he was a little disappointed with how his death was because it wasn't as gory as he was told it was going to be, or maybe they didn't shoot it or it didn't make it into the cut where he was supposed to be like gored through like the chest and stomach and raked down. He'd only see the claws go through the door. Because there were a few of these movies where they shot certain things that they had to actually pull out of, because like even in the first movie, they had to pull that one sequence of Tina hitting the bed with all the blood like splashing or whatever. They were like, oh yeah, that's too much. But anyway, Grady gets killed and, you know, Jesse's, again, he sees himself in the mirror and he's got the blood all over him and he's got the claws and the cops are already on the way and he's like having a fucking panic attack and he busts out the window and goes
barreling back to Lisa.
Right as she's actually about to go see him, you know, because like he bails on her. We forgot to mention he bails on her like, you know, completely.
Mid-makeout session.
Well, yeah, because like he freaked the fuck out. But anyway, she's going to meet him. As soon as she opens the door, he's already marching in, like, but
covered in blood.
I have to kind of giggle at this though, because like they don't come out and say this joke or whatever, but like like caught red-handed kind of thing. That's what it alludes to. You're caught red-handed. You're like blood on your hands. His hands are like coated with like obviously it's, you know, fake blood or whatever, but it's coated where it's like he's got a perfect like palm print. Like
I noticed that it looked a little too perfect.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, but poor dude was just flipping out. Like he was telling her, he's like, Lisa, I killed Grady, I killed Schneider. Like
she takes that all in stride very fucking well.
I do have to point that out again as another reason why I really like her character is that at one point she does take him to the abandoned mill that Freddy worked at because
just to look.
Yeah, because she was like I did all this research about Freddy Krueger and like...
She like poured over the diary too.
Yeah, like she didn't even once question, like even if like off screen he confided into her like what was going on with all his dreams and shit like that, she never once like questioned him or like doubted him and shit. She was...
I don't even think she suggested that he needed psychiatric help like his mother did.
Dude, no, like look, man, Lisa is a really great character in the fact that like she was not sexually motivated for this dude. Not that on surface, you know, like at that point. She was just very ride or die, man. Like just straight up. She's like, hey man, maybe a little dick, but like that's you know, that's extra. I'm ride or die though, either way.
100% support. What a good friend.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about Lisa's friend for a minute, the brunette. What a homie. She was like, fuck the party. Go see
Carrie?
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, Carrie's great. Yeah, because Lisa was like, I can't just leave the party. She's like, dude, fuck the party. Go see him. Like, yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Go see him. We should talk about that sequence because like that's coming up. He's talking to Lisa as he's bust through this door. He's just like, yeah, it's happening. He's going to take me again. They're going to come take me away. Like he actually like goes like full possessed at this part. It's another like, oh, does she see what's happening? It's pretty obvious that she sees what's happening. And you kind of get the feeling of like, okay, is this another thing in the Elm Street franchise where like the entire thing that's happening, is this a dream? Because it seems to be a shared psychosis. Anytime he actually goes into Freddy mode, people can actually see that it's Freddy Krueger and not like Jesse. So he proceeds to jump out of the door or jump out of the glass door and he disappears, you know, when she's telling him to fight it. Because he eventually, like, she stabs him and she can't do it really because
it doesn't do any damage.
No, but what's really like kind of like mind fuck is hearing Jesse's voice come out of Freddy's makeup.
Love you, Lisa.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Please kill me. That's the bit that got me. I was like, oh, fuck, this poor baby.
Yeah. But so he goes out there and like he wrecks like 10 people.
Yeah, he definitely crashes the fuck out of that party. Tries to boil people alive like fucking human lobsters in the pool.
Oh, he does? No, he definitely does. Like that is the body count in this movie is like 10 people.
Yeah.
Like straight up. It's so anticlimactic, but we have like one of the more iconic lines of the whole franchise is the "You are all my children now" line.
Mm-hmm. Good scene.
But the dad rolls out there with a shotgun. And instead of Freddy like hauling balls, like leaving, he just like, fuck you, and just like walks away.
Such a weird reaction.
Yeah, he just walks away and just like burns that flower thing. One thing I do want to point out though that I found very interesting, the movie does kind of run quickly. Like if you are invested in it. It's not a long movie. It's like an hour and 27 minutes, which is a pretty decent standard film time for most things, but it doesn't feel like that.
It's paced very fast. It feels like it goes by in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is like, I feel like there probably could have, maybe should have, I don't know if they left it out on purpose or not, but they could have done a subplot where Jesse is being like investigated by police, or like he's being questioned by police for like, you know, maybe they found like shoe prints at the site, like at Coach Snyder's death, or
somebody saw him with them, or any number of things.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. Cause like, I always feel like that would have, that maybe have added on to like him being really like pressured or like really like fucked up over it. But maybe it was time constraint.
It might have been. They could have dragged it out a little bit more. And, you know, Grady's parents heard Jesse's voice on the other side of that door. You know what I mean? They might not have been too familiar with Jesse himself, but that might have led to something.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, Lisa goes after him in his own car, the Deadly Dinosaur.
The Deadly Dinosaur.
I love that car is pretty much its own character.
Yeah.
So she kind of figures, well, he's probably going to go back to this mill that I brought him to. And it's strange because like we really get of all the nightmare films, as much as I actually enjoyed this movie, it feels like this might be the most anticlimactic.
It's one of my least favorite endings, I gotta admit.
Yeah, for sure. And she essentially talks Jesse out of his body and kisses him in Freddy form, and it's a kiss of death basically, because like the whole area in the factory that they're in catches fire. He starts melting, he
literally combusts, and then his fucking flesh melts off his skull.
That fucking sound it makes, like he catches fire, and that fucking, you know, that boom fucking sound that he fucking makes when he hits the ground.
When his head hits, yeah.
I was like, dude, you
got domed on the fucking...
That's what's hilarious, because when he fucking peels all the charred skin off, because it's Jesse coming out of like the body, you know, or whatever. So like when he peels all like the burnt flesh and shit, his eyes are so glassed over, just staring off. And, you know, Lisa's crying, you know, because obviously it's fucking traumatic or whatever. She goes and, you know, she embraces him and holds him and shit. And I'm laughing because like he's probably heavily concussed from taking that header on the fucking rail, dude.
Knocked him into another fucking monster universe.
Right. Yeah, she's like, Jesse. He's like, who? Bro, what? So we kind of get a repeat of the end of the first movie where Jesse is getting onto a bus, which we completely fucking didn't talk about the opening to this movie, where like they start on a bus, right? Not only do they start on a bus, Jesse has like the world's largest side part.
Why did they do him dirty like that?
They
in that
totally
first
did.
Scene? They made him look like some greasy-haired fucking nerd chilling in the back of the bus because someone bullied him into it.
He looked like an unwashed goth kid.
It's so fucking weird.
Right?
And then he just looks so perfect the whole rest of the fucking film.
Yeah, exactly. But like that opening sequence was really cool, where like Freddy is the bus driver. He drives off the road and into this desert area, and the bus winds up teeter-tottering on this really fucking like hellscape canyon. Oh, it's so weird looking, but it's fucking frightening. So Jesse's getting back onto a bus, and you know, the whole movie he drives his own car. Why is he getting on a bus? Nothing happened to the car.
That should be your thing, your clue. You're like, oh, wait a second.
Right.
And then you remember the first movie did the same thing with a car. I loved that too. It was kind of like a little callback to it.
So he's sitting next to Lisa on the bus, and Carrie is sitting behind them, and Jesse starts freaking out because the bus is going too fast. And then eventually it slows down and picks another kid up, you know, and they're just like, fuck. She's like, yeah, maybe, you know, we just don't talk about it, you know. And Carrie's like leaning over the seat, and she's like, yeah, everything's just fine. And then like Freddy's arm bursts out of her stomach, and then like we get the, you know,
the overview of the bus just barreling through the desert
again with lightning and thunder, and like the kids are screaming and Freddy's laughing, and it's like, oh man, okay, so we got the dream within a dream thing again. And it sucks because I feel like the movie has like a good opening with the bus scene, and it's got a pretty good first and second act, and then the third act honestly falls short.
It really does. Yeah, I don't think the ending does justice for the rest of the movie. It is anticlimactic. I feel like that's the best word to describe it. It's completely anticlimactic. I would have liked to have seen them do more with it.
Yeah, I get that. Like, it's just, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, but to be fair, the movie it made good money at the box office.
30 million. Oh my gosh. Yeah. On a budget of 3.
Yeah. I mean, consider the first movie had a budget of 1.1 and made 57 million at the box office. This movie did enough numbers for them to be like, okay, well, we have a hit on our hands.
We need to keep this going. Yeah.
Right. So you already know the story. If you know the Elm Street franchise, if you know Freddy Krueger, they had a ton of these movies that were all over the 1980s and then like some of it in the 90s. But Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, it's not a high up on mine, but it's definitely not the worst Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
On that, I can agree with you on that. It is not the worst. I do very much love it for what it is. Besides the first movie, it's the one that I've probably consumed the most. So the familiarity is there, but not my favorite storyline-wise, for sure.
Yeah, so I remembered the first time I saw this movie, I saw the case for the movie in my parents' video store, like my family's video store or whatever. Like I remembered seeing all of the horror movies on the shelf, but I never watched it. Like it was, I was still young. I didn't know like what if there were stories or back then slashers didn't have to make, to a child or to a younger person, a slasher didn't have to make sense. It just had to have like,
it just had to be scary.
Yeah. So the first time I saw this was on USA Up All Night. Sometimes they would play like 2 Elm Street films back to back, but it would never be anything that was like, 4 and 5 or 3 and 4 or 1 and 2. I saw one week where it was part 2 and part 4. And I was like, okay. So I remembered seeing this when I was like, it's a fucking dude in the lead role. Oh, fuck, it's like a weird looking Freddy, because the different eyes and no gloves on the hand. Like I was, aware enough, but I was like, being younger, I was like, this isn't good. I was young. I was like, this is not good. And then I got into my later teens and early 20s, like, this still isn't good. And I got into my 30s and I was like, okay, I get it.
Right.
But yeah, it's not the worst. I actually enjoy this one. I actually will go out of my way to watch it, but I'm one of those people that if I watch Elm Street, I actually will sit and make time to watch 1 through 7. So yeah, be on the lookout for whenever we eventually cover A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors, which that's absolutely my favorite of the franchise. So
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, me too. I don't think we're going to wait until its 40th anniversary because that's like 2 years from now. That's like 2027. So it'll be here sooner than you think.
Of course.
But if you have any other movies that you would like to hear us talk about, let us know in the comment section underneath this episode if you're watching on our YouTube channel or if you are following us on any of our social media platforms. Just let us know, like, hey, we'd like to see this movie or,
Also, tell us what your thoughts were seeing this movie for the first time. If you're part of the LGBTQ plus community, let us know if this affected you in some way, because this was a pretty big movie for a lot of people. A lot of youth around that time, and even more people, I think, later on, after the fact. I would love to hear anybody who's got a particular gusto for it because of that.
Same. For past, present, and future episodes of Cult Macabre, you can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. You can leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave us a rating and leave comments on individual episodes on Spotify. And if you're listening to this episode on our YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the bell for notifications for future episodes, leaving a like on this video, or leaving a comment down below. Any engagement helps. And if you'd like to follow us on any of our social media platforms, all of that information can be found in our Linktree link in the show notes below.
If you'd like to join us for more of pop culture's dark side, sign the Black Book and join the cult. I'm Lee.
And I'm Richie.
We'll see you next time.